this, but she's already turned her camera off. She don't even want to be part of the class. So
y'all can't see me?
we can't see you, girl. And you know, y'all are the blossoms in the class. Y'all three. The rest of them are introverts.
Oh, I know why you can't see me. Now you can see me.
There's Miss Dennis. Okay. Now, here we go. Y'all should be able to see my screen. And I'm going to give y'all 12 numbers. And I want y'all to go ahead and start and do everything that you can do. Anything that you can't do, just leave blank. So we're going to go with 10. Let's go with 15. 15, 15, 15. 16, 17, 19, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 25. All right, there you go. Now I want you to do the mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, all that good stuff. Mean. Mode, range, mid-range, variance, and standard deviation. Anybody see Clarice last night? Okay. So it's a show that's taken off of Silence of the Lambs? Okay, forget it.
Tell us.
If it's not a cartoon by Walt Disney, y'all don't watch it. So
whatever.
Anyway. Hello, Clarice. You got to watch Silence of the Lambs in order to appreciate Clarice.
I love
Anthony
him.
Hopkins he made that movie.
How much do you want us to round by?
You round at the very end. I always tell students to keep their calculations to 4 or 5 decimal places.
Mr. McClure,
Say again?
should we be using Excel? Because I
You
haven't
can
figured.
use Excel, or you can use the calculator, or you can do it by hand.
Because I haven't figured out how to do the standard deviation like by hand in a timely manner.
Well, you should know. I'll give you all the formula. I'll write it down again. You might have got cut off.
I know how to do it, but do you have to do every single one of the numbers or just some of them?
You have to do every single one of them.
Oh.
I'll go through it. Don't worry. Just
Okay.
do as much as you can.
Okay. And can we use Excel in the test?
Yes. I'd like to fix it. You can use StatCrunch, but StatCrunch is like Blackboard. It only works half the time. So I don't know. I'm going to show you how to do your calculator also.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you everything. Okay. So
Okay.
y'all just stand by, because the first thing you got to do, you got to crawl before you can walk. And I make sure that you understand how to do it by hand first. And then I show you all the shortcuts. Because if I just showed you all the shortcut, Miss Dennis wouldn't get her money's worth. And I don't want her not to get her money's worth.
I'm not
So
even
I'm gonna make her
crawling
work
or walking.
extra
I'm still
hard.
rolling over.
What'd you say, Miss Dennis?
I'm not crawling or walking. I'm still rolling over.
As Cowhide, as Rawhide, rolling. Oh, we see what's wrong now, Miss Dennis. That's why they got you in a closet. You drink too much. That's what it is.
Okay.
You know, it's sad that people don't have a sense of humor.
I'm just gonna watch because I never know when and how to start. I don't.
That's fine. That's why I do these problems over and over.
And I think last week's class didn't record. I didn't see it.
Well, I tried. There was one class, I can't remember which class it was, that I couldn't I think it was 155. I couldn't get, and there was one day I was behind, but I did get but I did get it up like the day after. So you might want to check it. Usually I do it, I'll tell you when I upload my recordings. Right before 9 or 10 o'clock. That way it takes all night because I do 3 classes at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes at least an hour to an hour and a half for it to do all 3 classes.
Okay.
So I usually put them on the afternoon or the night of the class. So that may be why you didn't see it when you looked for it. Okay, so here we go. The first thing you do is put them in order. Now, they're already in order, but make sure if you get a problem on a test or homework, make sure they're in order. Second thing you're going to do is find the mean. Now, how do you find the mean? Y'all been doing it since the 7th grade. How do you do it?
Not all of us.
Oh, come on. You
It's the
telling me you
average.
didn't check your grades in the 7th grade?
We didn't do this in 7th grade.
You checked your grades, didn't you? You averaged your grades,
No.
didn't you?
No.
Okay. Well, I did. All right.
It's figures. You seem like
And I was in the hood. I was in Southwood, the
I
prison.
was in Massachusetts.
Oh, well. Then you're smarter than me. You're from the north.
Whatever.
You're smarter than me. Equals, I'm going to do summation, and I'm going to add all these together, and I'm going to divide by what? That's a cue for the class to interact with me.
12.
12.
12. And I didn't put the division symbol. Sorry. Give me a second. I didn't put the division symbol. Divide by 12.
Mr. McClure.
And check that number, 18.91666667. Is that what everybody got?
Mr. McClure.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Could you show me real quick how you did that in Excel?
You hit the summation button right there.
Uh-huh.
You highlight those numbers. Go up to the formula bar and hit divide by 12
Okay.
and hit enter.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, median. How many, I'm going to highlight this red because I'm going to do it a dark red. Because why am I doing 12 red? Why am I coloring it red? Anybody want to take a guess? Because you just don't pick the middle number when this is even. What do you do when hold on a second. What do you do when the n is even? What do you do?
You average the 2 middle numbers.
You average the 2 middle numbers. Write that down if you didn't write it down before. You average the 2 middle numbers. So I'm going to write that down. N is equal to an even number. Therefore, find average 2 middle terms. So where is my 2 middle terms? Well, there's 12 numbers. So I'm going to count down to 5. 1,
19.
3, 4, 5. So 19 and 19 are the 2 middle numbers to average. Now, I got a degree in a bathroom at my house and running water. I know that the average of 19 and 19 is 19. So I don't need somebody go, well, Hubert, why are you averaging the numbers? They're 19. You average those 2 numbers no matter what they are. So that way you know how to do it. So parentheses, 19
How come
plus
it's not
19
18.5?
divided by. Now, if you got any other number beside 19, you need to check what you typed in, and you need to check to see what your numbers are rounding to. Okay, so it should be 19. What
How
did you
come it's
say, Miss
not-
Dennis?
How come it's not 18.5?
What you got for 18.5? What?
I said, how come it's not 18.5?
Because 19 plus 19 is 38. And half of 38 is 19. You're
Oh,
thinking of the midpoint.
oh,
You're thinking of something else. All right. So you're thinking of the frequency distribution. Okay. Don't think about that. All right. Mode. What number shows up the most?
15.
I'm going to take your word for it because I'm typing. All right. 15. How do you find the range?
The largest number minus the smallest number.
Good job.
25
If I can
minus
spell.
15,
There we go. I can't
10.
I can't spell. There. I'm going to do it for you. Equals 25 minus 15, and it should be 10. Mid-range, you're going to take the highest plus the lowest and divide by what? So that's going to be equal to the highest plus the lowest divided by 2. Make sure you put parentheses. If you use Excel, make sure you put parentheses around the numerator. I wish I could make this bigger. I wish I could make this. I can't. I don't think I can. No. I wish I could make this formula area a little bit bigger so you could see it. But all right, now the variance. So I go to my handy dandy paper right here and we write down the formula so you can read the formula. Notice I didn't say Hubert tells you how to do it. I'm not going to do that because I'm a bastard. I know. Variance is equal to the summation of x minus x bar, quantity squared, over the n minus 1. Okay, so we're going to go through and I'm going to highlight what we're going to do first. This is what I did the last time. The first thing we're going to do is what's inside the what? Parentheses, Hubert. That's right, class. I'm going to take the average away from each one of my x's. Then, what do I do with that? I square those numbers, Hubert. That's right, class. Y'all act like y'all never seen this before. It's pissing me off. And then what do I do after I square them? What do I do?
You'll divide them by 12 minus 1, which is 11.
No, there's something else. I have it highlighted up there on the numerator. What does that funky E?
Together.
I add them all together. This funky E, what is that called? Capital sigma.
The sum.
Exactly. Capital sigma. Capital sigma, that one's going in the trash. Capital sigma means add up all, which means summation. So that's why you got to read the formula. This is what students do when I give them a formula like this. How do you do it, Hubert? Well, read the formula. How do you do it? I'm not going to tell you. You read the formula. That's what you have to do. All right. Now, n minus 1, y'all can do that. You can't do n minus 1. What's 12 minus 1?
11.
11. So you know the denominator is going to be 11. So go ahead and put that in your formula. But I'm going to go back now, and we're going to take the mean away from each one of our x's. And you need to draw a column beside the first column, right here. This is x, and this is going to be called x minus x bar. And you're going to draw a column right beside this column. All right, I'm going to do it for you. Equals, click on 15, minus this number right here. Now, if you are used to using Excel, as soon as you click on to that average, you hit F4 for lock. Now, if you don't know what I'm doing, then don't even ask, okay? But if you're familiar with Chrome, what do y'all call it? Chrome sheet? Or if you're familiar with Excel, it's locking that number right there. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just do it by hand. Because I'm going to show you how to do it on a calculator eventually. And there are your numbers, so go ahead and check them. Now, I tell students right here, if you don't want to write down all the numbers right now, write down the first one, the middle numbers, and the last one, and then fill in the blanks later. Okay, but it's you're subtracting 18.91666667. You're subtracting that from each one of your numbers. And I think Mr. Michelle asked about rounding. If you notice, I ain't rounding anything. When will I round? As soon as I'm fixing to type in the answer. That's when you round in probability and statistics. You don't go, okay, the mean is 18.999, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to say 19. And you start calculating 19 in the other, it won't work. You'll get the wrong answer every single time, especially if you're looking for the variance and the standard deviation. So I tell students to try to keep it to 4 or 5 decimal places at least. Now on the Excel spreadsheet, all you got to do is just make them wider. If I want to make it 10 digits, I just, go further out, like that. If you are working with your handy dandy calculator, you can leave it floating, or you can hit mode, go down to float, and make it go to 5 decimal places. And now when you divide 2 raised to the 0.5 power, now it carries 5 decimal points. If you leave it on floating, it will take it all the way to 10 or at 9. So 2 raised to the 0.5 power, it'll take it as far as it'll go. So that's up to you, whatever you want to do, but do not round in the middle of calculating. Okay, look at your formula. Look at your formula. Everybody look here. What do we do after we subtract x minus x bar?
You then add them all up together.
No, the orange.
You square it.
Oh, yeah, square them.
Okay, so I'm going to go down here and I'm going to square each one of those numbers. And what that does, it makes everything positive. And copy that down. And there's your numbers. Again, to save you time note taking, write down the first number, the middle two numbers, and the last number. That way you can fill in the blanks later. Okay, I think it was Mr. Michelle that said add them up. You're going to add them up. So down here, I'm going to take and hit this button, and I'm going to add up all those numbers. Now, I'm going to show you what I just did. I'm going to take my handy dandy. Let's make this small. Bring it down here. You know, y'all are so lucky to have a teacher that just does all this for y'all. Y'all are just so lucky. All right. So here I go. And I take variance is equal to 126.916667 divided by, and a while ago, y'all said n minus 1 was 11.
Mm-hmm.
And that is your variance right there. So you can do that in your calculator. This number right here, I'm going to highlight it pink. Let's see if I got a pink in here. There's pink up there. No, that's pink. All right. It's more of a mauve. I don't know, pink. Anyway, I'm going to take my handy dandy pink highlighter and I'm going to highlight this number right here. Because you just found, when you get the summation, you just found the numerator for your variance. And of course, 12 minus 1 is 11. So I'm going to go put that over here, and y'all check y'all's numbers with mine. Divided by 11. That's what I got. Can I make this bigger?
Yep, that's what I got.
Bless you. No more sneezing in class.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'll just throw you out. Just cancel you and throw you out. This is the age of cancel. I will cancel you. Now, what do you do to get the standard deviation? What is the relationship between the standard deviation and the variance?
You square root it.
Square root it. Take the square root of the variance, or raise the variance to the 1/2 power, or what I do, take the variance and raise it to the 0.5 power. Now that's what I do. You do whatever you feel comfortable with, but this is what I do. So when I raise it to the 0.5 power, you don't say, why'd you raise it to the 0.5 power? All three of these are the same thing. And if you ever spent any time in calculus, either teaching it or taking it, you know that the radical does not apply in calculus. You put it to the 1/2 power or the 0.5 power. And that's why I do that. Okay. So I'm going to take the square root of 11. Well, we know the square root of 9 is 3. So we know it's going to be around 3 point something. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert, I'm going to equals this number raised to the 0.5 power. And there is your standard deviation. Now, Mr. Michelle, if the question asks you for a standard deviation and you round to the 100th, that's where you round. Now you can round. Hopefully that answers your question, Mr. Michelle.
Yes, sir, it does. Thank you.
You do not round until you're fixing to type in the answer. And you can't get the standard deviation and the variance by rounding off the mean. If you round off the mean, that number is going to be wrong. All right. Now, what else can we find?
The maximum, minimum, and the
5-number summary, yes. Golly, look at Miss Dennis's house. She's got a gigantic house. That almost looks like your house, Miss Dennis. Your office area looks like a house. It looks
Well,
very...
it don't, because I only
Oh.
have little old white women walking around my house.
What? I didn't see that. I'm talking about the lights and stuff. God. I'm offended. I'm offended.
No, you're not.
Okay. So 5-number summary. And here we go. And don't hit page down. 5-number summary. You need your min, max, your first quartile, your second quartile, your third quartile, and your max. And I'm going to put in right here mid-range, because you need the mid-range to do your number line. And of course, your mid-range is over here. You already figured it. The max is pretty much over here. Now, if you miss the max and the min, don't tell anybody. Why? Because nobody in this room should miss the min and the max. If you do, you don't tell anybody. Yeah, I got that right. You don't just lie. Because if you tell somebody that you missed the min and the max, they gonna think you on drugs or moonshine or something.
I got 243 for the min.
There you go. She's on Sudafed. All right. So there is the stuff that you need that you don't even have to calculate in your 5-number summary. So if you get any of those wrong, I'm not gonna claim you as one of my students. Okay? Because all those you've already either seen or you've already calculated. All right, now where is the median? The median is right here. See where my white cursor is? This is the part that's a little bit different. Besides the median, calculating the median, it's a little bit different because you have an even number. My median is right here, where that white cross is. So I've got to count the numbers above and below. How many numbers do we have above that white cross right there between the 19s? Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even or odd?
even.
So we got to take the middle two terms and do what?
Add them up and divide them by 2.
Take the average of them, yes. Now, if there had been 7, then you just pick the middle number. But since it's even, we've got to make sure you hit equals. There we go. And I'm going to add 15 plus 16 and divide by 2. And let's go ahead and make the min, let's make it gray. And let's make the third, let's make that blue. I've already used blue. No, I've already used blue. Verde. We'll make it a verde. So let's make it verde. Y'all surprised?
Green.
Mexican, dang old, I can speak Spanish. All right, so equals parentheses 21 plus 22 divided by 2 and make that verde. And I'm gonna make my max that burnt yellow orange color so y'all see it. Okay, now I'm done calculating what I need to calculate. Now what are you going to do? Well, this is what you do as a student if you need to. You go over here and you pull up your handy dandy printout that you printed out, the 2 people in the class that printed these out. You go ahead and pull that out. And now we're going to do the normal curve empirical rule, and we're going to do the box plot down here. Of course, 80% of you didn't put these out, so you're going to have to draw it.
I printed them out.
Huh?
I printed them out.
Oh my gosh, you're the one. All right, so I'm going to write this stuff down so I don't have to go back and forth. So my min, first, second, third, max, and mid-range. My min is 15. First is 15.5. Second is 19. Third is 21.5. Max is 25. And my mid-range is 20. And over here, my mean is equal. Now I'm going to round 18.9. I'm not going to add all those decimals trying to show y'all how to do this. So I'm going to put an approximate right here. And you would keep the decimals in your answer. I'm going to make that 19. And the standard deviation is going to be approximately. You use the decimals. I'm going to round mine to 3. So the first thing I do is empirical rule. So you might want to write down empirical rule now because that's what I'm fixing to show you. So the empirical rule says that I put the mean in the bottom. And what's 19 plus 3? 22.
22.
And 22 plus 3?
25.
25 plus 3?
28.
19 minus 3, 16. 16 minus 3, 13. 13 minus 3, 10. Now, let me go ahead and reaffirm. You will use 19 point blah, 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 and add 3 point blah, 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 blah. On a problem, that's what you would do. You would not round unless it tells you to round to the nearest whole. Okay? Okay, now I take my handy dandy, we're doing the empirical rule. So I take my handy dandy green highlighter, and y'all follow along on page 132, the coloring that I'm fixing to do. And if you want to go ahead and color the graph the way you want to, and then run 15, 20 copies, knock yourself out for the 2 people that's going to do it. All right, so here and here and here. I try so hard to keep it between the lines. Look at there. I can't do it. All right, and some of y'all, oh gosh, look at y'all's crayon books when y'all were little. Oh gosh, I wish I could do that. All right. And what does that represent? That represents normal. And what's the percentage? 95%. So in our classroom, and let's say this is a classroom that ages in the classroom. If I have a 10-year-old or an 8-year-old in my class, that is considered an outlier. If I have a 19-year-old in my class, that is considered normal. Okay, so now I'm going to take my yellow highlighter and I'm going to highlight the unusual. Who would be unusual? Well, I don't like to use pro sports because I gave up on pro sports about 3 or 4 years ago. So I don't even watch pro sports anymore. So if you were thinking, first of all, to make it to pro sports, that's unusual. You know, everybody dreams of playing pro sports, but only 1% of 1% make it. So they're unusual. So somebody name a mediocre quarterback in the NFL.
Cam Newton.
Okay. Mediocre. Somebody name an outlier quarterback.
Tom Brady.
There you go, Tom Brady. Although I would also put Peyton Manning in there too, because Peyton Manning to me was a great quarterback. But and Tom Brady is too. I'm not Terry Bradshaw. There's some great Brett Favre, and I would even consider what's his name up there in Green Bay. I can't ever remember.
Aaron
his name.
Rodgers.
Yeah, I think he's a good one.
What about
I
Drew
think
Brees?
he's outstanding. But you can't compare those to the Ben Roethlisbergers and the Cam Newtons. They're just mediocre. Now that cat with what's his name with the Jaguars or what's his name came from Louisville. What's his name?
Lamar Jackson.
I think he's going to be a good. I think he's going to be a good one if he can keep himself straight without messing up. Let's go ahead and put in the outliers because that's what we're talking about. Your outliers are going to be out here. That's your Michael Jordans, your Tiger Woods, and your Tom Brady's right there. Exceptional. Your 6-foot second graders. So if I have a student in my class, Miss Dennis, that's above the age of 28, because Miss Dennis is 29, that is what? That is an outlier. She's frozen. See, here she comes. All right. So Miss Dennis is an outlier because she's 29. But somebody that's 9 years old would be an outlier. Somebody that's 12 years old would be unusual. Somebody that's 22 would be normal. And that's what the empirical rule tells you. But you got to put your numbers down here first. Okay? The colors are the empirical rule. You can put those colors in there and then run 20 copies, but these numbers will change depending on what data you're given. So that's the empirical rule and the normal distribution. Now let's do the box plot. Because I'm about out of time, I know. Box plot, 3 numbers. Your min is 15. Your max is 25. Your medium is 20. And this is going to be 17.5. This is going to be 22.5. And 15 to 17.5 is 2.5. 16 and a quarter. 18.75. 21 and a quarter. I'm trying to do this in my head, so y'all forgive me if I made a mistake. 23.75. And now I take let's take a blue pen and let's put our first quartile. 15.5 in blue. 15.5 would be down here. Let's use a green pen and do our third. 21.5. 21.5 would be in here. And let's use a orange pen and let's do the 19. 19 would be right in here. And that's our box plot. Again, you can put the box on the number line or you can put it above the number line. And where is the middle? Where is center? There's the center. So somebody tell me what they think the data actually looks like. Is it skewed left? Is it skewed right? Or is it normal? Well, it looks like to me it's what?
Skewed right.
Skewed left. I'm sorry, skewed right. You're right. You're correct. Skewed right because this number is a little bit left of what? Center. So it's a little bit on this side. A little bit, not a lot. And this right here, take this, let me make this small. And this is about everything that you're going to do in 3.1, 3.2, and 3.4. The only thing left after you do this, after you do all of this, the only thing left is z-scores. So if they say anything in your homework about a z-score or a standard score, if you see anything in your homework about those two, just wait, because we haven't went over. That's the only thing we haven't went over yet. All right, so just wait on that. You should be working on 3.1, 3.2, and 3.4 right now over the weekend. And those questions will basically ask you one of these things that we've covered today. It's going to ask you to do one of these things: a box plot, a normal curve, empirical rule, 5-number summary, mean, median, mode, range, mid-range variance, or standard deviation. It's going to ask you one of those things, or two of them, or all of them. I doubt very seriously all of them. All right, who's got a question on what we've covered today and what you're responsible for whatever day we meet again? Monday. Now remember, we only got z-scores, so you might be seeing a test coming up pretty soon. Now, you don't need to worry about it until I finish z-scores, and then we'll talk about the review, and then I'll set the dates, and then the procrastinators will, run around like a chicken with their head cut off to try to get their homework done in 2 days. Okay? And no, I'm not going to tell you, because you should be up with the homework. You should all be on chapter 3. If you're not, then you're a procrastinator. All right. Any questions? All right. I've already taken, you know what you need to do. Have a good weekend. I will see y'all Monday. We should be trying to have class at Anderson. This is the last time I'm trying. If it doesn't work this time, to hell with it. But I do ask that for those 9 or 10 students that wants to meet, that's fine. The rest of y'all, please don't come to class if you're not one of those people, because those people said they'd like to come to class. Last time, I think we had like 6 or 7. So as long as it stays below 10, we're good. But I'm going to try it one more time. And I'll see y'all Monday. I'll stay on here. I think Mr. Michelle's got a question. The rest of y'all can hit the leave button, and I'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Mr. Michelle, what was your question? Is it a general question, or is it something to do with your record, or what?
It's mostly to do about like Maymester classes.
When are you asking? When do we do that?
Yes, sir. Like, when should I?
Okay, let
sign
me
up
pull
for
up the
Maymester?
academic calendar, because I can't remember. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Oh, you also might want to stop recording.
Oh, thank you. Y'all have to tell me these things, because I can't remember.